Greeting everyone and welcome to TFA Talking Point. Today we have a very interesting topic to talk about, and that topic is coming thanks to some people who drop comment under my post, and those comments are very interesting and educative, and that is why I decided to talk about them. One of the first is that I'm not going to read the name of the person, but I'm going to read some a paragraph or sentences within the message. It says, "You say that Cameroon was won under the Germans. So my question is, what was Cameroon before the Germans, sir? Because history tells us that the British signed treaties with the coastal chiefs of Buea, southern Cameroon, as far back as 1857, and the Germans only did so from 1889 to 1914. The first correction I have to make there, I believe, the British did not sign any treaty because in around 1857, the colonization was not yet taking place. It was still scrambling for Africa. And they bought piece of land that was in Limbe and called Victoria. They bought piece of land there. They signed a treaty like you sign a land document when you buy land from somebody. And then it was not a colonization treaty. And then the Germans signed a treaty. A colonized Cameroon. That was 1884. That is when the Germany-Douala Treaty was signed in Cameroon. And when we are talking about Cameroon was one, we base our argument and everything on the colonization, because if looking through Africa, all the boundaries we are having today in Africa is because of colonization. So if we want to hold anything, we are holding at the point of colonization. We don't go before colonization, because if you go before colonization, many people will be fighting in Africa because boundaries were divided. Africa was divided in Berlin by the Europeans. And that is where we have the present Africa we are having today. So that is the first issue we have to talk about. And then if you will look through Amazonia, what Amazonia, they are claiming that they want to separate, they base their argument on colonization. All their arguments is based on colonization. The boundary they are holding on to is based on colonization, not before colonization. Cameroon was one before colonization. Cameroon came under the Germans, one Cameroon. And then it was just due to the selfishness of the British and the French that Cameroon was divided as a piece of cake. And today, part of Cameroon is in Nigeria. That is the British Northern Cameroon in Nigeria. And that is the first issue we have to hold on to. So we limit our history on colonization because that is where all our trouble started. And that is why I talk about that particular point. So, and then to correct other issue that I saw, there is a moreover, international law states that the boundary of your territory as of independence is, that is the boundaries of territory. Where the French Cameroon got independent, that was on 1st January 1960. And then that was the beginning. That was the beginning of the crisis in southern Cameroon. That was the beginning of the crisis in southern Cameroon. That very day, when the United Nations allowed French Cameroon to achieve or to gain independence without British Cameroon, that was already an indication that British Cameroon will automatically have their own independence without joining anybody. And that is what I presented a video some years behind, maybe last year, asking the United Nations what happened that they allowed British Southern Cameroon and British Northern Cameroon to achieve independence by joining another territory. That is the only transition territory under the United Nations that gained independence through that way. And then I was asking the Amazonia that if they can unite together with trustworthy Southern Cameroonians to disturb and ask this particular question to the United Nations, we will have something genuine coming out. They will speak the truth. They will come out with the truth. Because the organization have not been changed, like the League of Nations was changed. No, it is still there and documentation are still there, in which if they put pressure on the United Nations, we are going to have something concrete than fighting to defeat the military. I said, no, that can never happen because President Paul Biya is recruiting. When you killed one military, President Paul Biya will recruit 20 from the children of the poor, from the frustrated Cameroonians, and we keep on killing people who have nothing to do with. They cannot deny it because of poverty and hunger, and the false promises that the government is giving them. That is the one of the issue, that if all Amazonia can say, okay, we are joining together with Southern Cameroonians to sit and understand, have a dialogue, like all Southern Cameroonians together with those who call themselves Amazonia, so that they will say, okay, all Southern Cameroonians, wherever you are, we are going to write 1 or 5 million petition to the United Nations, asking them why they allowed Southern Cameroon of British Cameroon to gain independence by joining the only transitive territory under the United Nations that achieved independence by joining others. We will have something out there. And that was the main issue, because the first problem was created by the United Nations. They knew that Cameroon was one under the Germans. And then when the other part wanted to gain independence under their watch, they were supposed to call British Southern Cameroonians that, okay, you people should come and join together and form a territory at the beginning so that you people can have your independence. When they make that mistake and allow one part to achieve independence, automatically the other part was supposed to fight for their own. But because the United Nations was having this as an agenda, but because of the manipulation of the British, they wanted to manipulate everything so that all British Cameroon would join Nigeria. But there was already division, and that fight started. And the French came, that came to their knowledge, and they started fighting also. And that is why British Cameroon was divided. One part joining Nigeria and one part joining Cameroon. So we will be talking about this comment gradually, because there are a lot of educative messages that can help us to end the crisis in our homeland in a very fast way. Thank you very much for that.